Hello, friends and enemies, and welcome back to the channel. I am your super fluffy host, and today, gonna be a few random little stories. I'd mentioned last time that I'd sort of become friends with Fox, and we had hung out together a little bit, well, online. We never really met offline anymore, which, fine by me. But of course, we tried to constantly get D&D games going because, for me, he was the only person I knew. This was before I got introduced to before he found the group that we'd both be in. We tried to get together random games on the site that he had found, and honestly, there's a lot of people that were just trying to find games, and there'd be people that would pop up and be like, hey, I've got this really interesting idea. Will someone else GM it for me? Needless to say, not a lot really happened. So, we ended up getting into this group and finding a different website for D&D. And things actually went a lot better there, since it was just in general a lot better. Like the community seemed better, it's bigger, the layout was better, the actual games themselves, the system that was set up, the way the website was designed was a lot better. And we had random games. We didn't really play together too much, and I didn't really play with a lot of the other people because there's like at least 20 people, but I only ever really talked to maybe half a dozen. But still, it's all around good fun. And honestly, had a lot of fun, like just talking about optimization stuff with them. I was never really the best at it. It'd be things like I would design something like, well, hey, here's a idea that seems powerful, and someone would look at it and be like, hey, yeah, that looks like a pretty good idea. But if you did this and this, it would become even more powerful. And that was basically how it would go. I would come up with a little idea, maybe try to optimize something that was already posted up, and it would get a little bit better or a little bit farther than someone else. But then other people would come in and sort of make it even better, which to me, I found that to be fun. Character creation, character optimizations, all that sort of stuff, I just enjoyed it all. But still, we had random games here and there. Some of them went well, some of them not so much. I tried to host a game that would start out with a party in a coliseum. They would have to fight for their lives. But I noted that it was going to be more role playing than combat. It'd be combat, but it's mostly going to be role playing. People were interested. Talked about, oh yeah, totally interested in role playing here, and etc. etc. I tell people that it doesn't matter what you're going to play. If you decide on like some sort of non-combat build, you'll be teamed up for the arena battles with a combat build. And so the first fight went off pretty well. There's 4 people total, so 2 groups of 2 that have their little fights with some random enemies. First battle went through without hitch. And this was all play by post, of course. And everything seemed to be okay. People were enjoying it. They liked the way the crowd was cheering, and cheering for them when they did spectacular stuff. So wave 2 happens. They managed to valiantly defeat their enemies. The crowd is all hyped up. They're all hyped up. Now let them know that, okay, we'll be moving into the more heavy RP stuff now. And, stuff happens. They're basically slaves or whatever. And so they get busted out with, like, the resistance coming in and trying to free everyone. They don't want to go. They just want to stay and keep fighting. I tell them that the whole reason was for, the not fighting part. This was just little stuff to distract before the role-playing happened. Well, they don't want to do any of the role-playing. They just want to do fighting. Which I point out that there's a massive jailbreak going on, and if they stay behind, they're probably going to die. Needless to say, a bunch of people just end up getting upset and quitting because this wasn't the game they expected. They expected an arena combat game, not some sort of RP focus game, which just left me face palming. There's actually a number of instances like that. I tried to get together a Star Wars game. It went off, it's going pretty well at first. It was set in an alternate timeline where Mace Windu won his fight. And everything was going pretty good. The party was needing to escape with a group of refugees from a spaceport, or not spaceport, but a space station that was getting overrun by the Confederacy. And so they get the refugees to the transport, and they basically decide to, they're fighting battle droids, but let them know that, here come the super battle droids, it's time to escape. No, they want to stay and fight. They want to defeat these super battle droids, despite the fact that the super battle droids are mowing down their allies. And finally, a Jedi is like, we have to go, and effectively just force pushes them inside the transport ship so they can escape. One person got very upset, so much so that they said they run to the controls, turn the transport ship around, and smash it into the space station, killing everyone. And nobody stops them. Like, the party literally tries to fend off NPCs so they can get back to fighting battle droids, and needless to say, the ship transport crashes and explodes, and game over. And then they get upset because I was trying to railroad them, which, I mean, maybe it was a little bit to try to get them into the main adventure, but the whole point was that they were going to escape into the main adventure. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the perfect GM, but still, yeah. Anyway, so a lot of misadventures like that went on. And this went on for a few good years, actually. There were good games. There were bad games. Though my schedule sort of started acting up a bit. I'd gotten a job, and let's just say that I would occasionally have shifts where I would close at like midnight and then have to go in at 4 a.m. the next day. Needless to say, it became a lot harder to do D&D. I still tried, and other RPs, I still tried though. I remember this one that I tried to get into. I'd found this race called a Kushiban. They're like little rabbit cat things. Star Wars. Completely adorable. Fluffy as all get out. So naturally, I decided, you know what? I want to try to play one of these in a Star Wars game. Star Wars Saga Edition had just come out. No, wait, no. This was before Saga Edition. Or had it come? The timeline is all fuzzy for me. But still, I wanted to play this little Kushiban. I found a dark side-oriented campaign. And I talked to the GM. He was looking for players, and was basically like, okay, what we're going to do is if you get accepted, we'll have a mini campaign, or a mini session 0 by solo, to get to know your character and make sure they're going to work out. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. Come up with all the background detail stuff, and he's super into it. And unfortunately, after I get accepted, because he loved my concept and how I did it, the session 0 went out without a hitch. Unfortunately, a lot of people then, after I got accepted, popped up with like Gungans and Ewoks and whatever random race they could find, with the most ridiculous backstories that were just... It was madness, basically. So naturally, the GM got upset that I had ruined his perfect game, that it was my fault that all these people had popped up because I wanted to play this little furry rabbit cat thing. And so I was kicked out of the game. I would find out later that effectively his super serious dark side campaign with no Sith ended up being nothing but a bunch of super edgelordy Siths. Like, everybody that got accepted was playing like a long-lost Sith Lord here to take over the galaxy. I think it lasted 2 weeks before he was back up advertising his game with serious people only, but was still accepting everyone that had a backstory that was like long lost Sith Lord. I don't know what happened to that game. I imagine that he tried it again and probably ditched it again because everyone was playing an edgelord, despite him being the one that accepted all the edgelords. Anyway. So, yeah, my experience in these several years, like, this went all the way from, like, I don't know, 2006, 2007, all the way up to the launch of, like, 4th edition and Pathfinder. I'm definitely going to need to make a post about Pathfinder. I'm sure Pathfinder is just lovely, and in fact, I quite enjoy the 2 video games, the King Maker and Wrath of the Righteous. Absolutely love those, but I have experiences with Pathfinder. It might upset some of the few people that really, really enjoy it, but and I really should give it another chance. It's been a very long time since what happened. But needless to say, there's going to be a post about Pathfinder. But anyway, so years of playing on this site, a lot of fun. Kind of destroyed a campaign or two on purpose. Yeah, I know I'm kind of the jerk in that situation. I'll have to post about it. But that was a lot of the time spent with this group. Basically, every time a book would come out, we would tear it apart. And then we'd try to play it if we could. And just general shenanigans and D&D. But anyway, expect to start seeing some stuff about the campaign I technically destroyed, or helped destroy anyway. Pathfinder, a thing about Pathfinder, definitely gonna have to do that. And the final game that I played of D&D for several years. And not just because of real life stuff going on, but let's just say there were some people rage quitting, and a lot of people very upset with me for reasons I'm still not entirely sure why. But regardless of all that, I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, be sure to like the video, comment on the video, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all next time.